Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what I got for you right now. Classic Japanese cars. One of those quite remembered classic Japanese cars because Japanese cars throughout the world they were not fully known until the 70s, like 60s and 70s. But when it comes to one of the classic Japanese cars that we all quite remembered, or at least whoever's at least interested in cars, it's this model. And let me give it a proper presentation. This is a 143 scale 1973 Toyota Celica GT Liftback model. Now, remember, they had a liftback. Let me tell you exactly all the type of Celicas they had. They had a liftback and a hardtop. Now, the hardtop was more like a sedan type of car. Not sedan because it was still two doors, but it had like a bit of a trunk. Now this car right here, I don't know. When I remember seeing it, when I just remember, let me adjust. There it goes. When I remember seeing this car the very first time, I thought it was quite attractive. And I'm usually not crazy about sports cars. I think I said it in other videos, but this one was. And the other way, the other type of the Celica, the other shape, I even like it even more. Now, just so you know, this is actually the very first generation of the Toyota Celica, and the Celica it was a model that was out there for a very long time. They stick they were in until the 2000s, which I'll give you in a minute exact year. But this one right here, they came out in production in December of 1970, which was a 1971 model, till July of 1977. So this pulled out almost 7 years of pleasure to the Japanese market and some markets around the world too, because this was the era that Toyota came out to the world. We started enjoying these little quirky cars in the North American market and most likely other markets around the world too. I'm sure like Australia and New Zealand, they were already enjoying these Japanese cars because I have noticed they get a lot of the Japanese cars options that we didn't get back in the days. And that's good. That is good. Let's talk about engines. Engines, you have a 1.4, 1.6, another 1.6 twin cam, 1.9, 2.0, 2.0 twin cam, and the bigger one was the 2.2. All of these engines were four cylinder, and now let's talk about transmissions. Transmissions, you had a 4-speed manual, you also had a 5-speed manual, and then if you like more the automatic, you had an option for a 3-speed automatic. Okay. Now, just so you know, I'm gonna read this real quick. This car was aimed at the North American market as was Toyota response to the 1964 Ford Mustang, which was also based on a standard sedan with a style 2+2 bodywork. Yeah, it is kind of shaped similar to the Mustang, but the Mustang was a lot bigger, probably a lot more powerful too. But it is have that similar 60s, 70s look Mustang. I would probably agree there too. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let this car go around a few times, and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone. So, what do you guys think about this nice Toyota? Does it bring you memories? I think as being the first generation of the Toyota, this opened up a lot of doors for the Japanese sports cars, Japanese sport cars around other markets around the world, because Japanese cars were not that well known before the 60s, and but sports cars, they didn't really have that many. They were not that familiar with it. They were more into the little cars, the little sedans, right? But this was one of them that opened up a lot of doors for Japanese cars, and I like them. I like how popular they were for many years. They sticked around in the many markets for many years. Sadly, they lost a lot of momentum, like many sports cars around the world. I think they're not, SUV era. It's really hitting hard, but there's always a roller coaster market around the world. Always, they reach the peak and then they go down a little bit, then they go up, and then another type of car will go again in that era. Pick up too. All right, everyone. Don't forget to give me that beautiful thumbs up. I really appreciate your support and your comments. Believe me, I read them all. Sometimes I take a little long to connect to answer them, but I read them. It's not you're not being you're being acknowledged. That's what I want you to know that, and I really mean it. I'm interested. I like what I do. I like to read. I like to know what you guys think about the models, because even though these are only diecast size 143s or sometimes the 164s, they still realistic. They're very realistic models. This is not a little toy car that you're gonna push around against the wall and smack it 3 times and the car will be there. These are collectibles. People collect this for fun. Some people collect them because they remind them of their youth when they used to drive these cars or whatever the reason is. All right, everyone. And don't forget to click and subscribe. And the bell next to the subscribe button will remind you when I'm posting more videos. Take care of yourselves more than ever, as always mentioned. And goodbye.